Hi guys. Hello. I hope how are you today? You guys come on in. I made an announcement on Facebook as well. So I know that some of you are preparing dinner and getting off work. And so hop in whenever you feel um like you have a moment. But I am going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to my page. I am Lindasha. And tonight's conversation is going to be I don't know, I feel like it's like going from girl talk to grown woman talk, right? You know how we have girl talk in the evenings, you'll phone your friends. I have a few friends I need to respond back to through text message. So if y'all fall in, I see your text and I'm going to text you back. Had a busy day today. But tonight's conversation is going to be like very much so moving from girl talk into grown woman talk. And we're going to be discussing what it means to secure your sanity first, not theirs. Okay. That grown women are very much so committed to securing themselves, their mental health, and all first. Um, and they're committed to doing that before they are looking to secure anyone else's. This includes your children, this includes your spouse or significant other, this includes your boss, your job, your other family members that may be relying upon you. Um, I mean, it includes all of them. Let me go ahead and silence my phone right quick. I thought I had already done that. And so, one of the things that I know we're going to start tonight out with a story, right? And the story that we're going to start out with comes from a season in my past, right? My past life, you guys know I always keep a glass of water. Tonight, I want to be fancy. I think the other day I had like a bottle of water, but tonight I want to be a little fancy, so I got my little cute glass. So, as we are on our personal improvement journey and as we are on our self development and growth journey, one of the important things you have to watch out for as a woman is securing other people before you secure yourself, right? And the reason why is this is definitely biological, it's definitely in our DNA, whereby we are naturally nurturers. That is a huge part of who we are as women, and being a nurturer absolutely means that sometimes you're more outward focused than you are inward focused. And so when you are looking at like a little girl or a teenage girl, very often you will see that she is kind of not well groomed in all of the factors that you have to consider before you decide to give your nourishing or your nurturing ability. So she may be out just kind of giving without any type of boundaries or without any type of containers in her life. And the beautiful gift of life that she is able to give as a teenager or as a child, that freedom, that play, that fun, that lightness, that receptivity, she has not yet put a price on it. And so she's focusing on potentially securing everything else around her over herself. And if this is something that you identify with, just put it in the chat. If you're watching the replay, put it in the chat whenever you get a chance to see this. And I know for me, so my background is I'm the oldest of my mother's children. And I, of course, as a big sibling, helped to raise and help to, secure my siblings when we were younger, right? So I truly had this issue kind of show up in my life in different seasons because of my background. You guys know, I'm the oldest daughter of a single parent. You've met my mom in other videos, et cetera, et cetera. And so I remember like feeling this sense of responsibility in various parts of my past, whereby it was like, okay, Lindasha, you are you have your own life, you have everything that's going on, your own desires, your own wishes and dreams. but I always kind of felt this tug of war as though it was my job to like carry everybody else along, right? Or, if I were doing something new, then it was my responsibility to like kind of teach what I had learned almost immediately, right? Not truly bringing what had learned and what I had secured for myself, making sure that it was solid. I almost felt this immediate need to like give it right back out to somebody else because I was used to securing others before securing myself, right? And as you go through your personal growth journey, what has to happen as a grown woman is you recognize that there are just way more needs around you than you often have the ability to meet, right? As an individual person, like they're just too many. And what I see in terms of a lot of women is that this is the start of a woman losing herself. And as a woman, very often losing her sanity or her strength in mental health, right? Like once you get to that place where you're recognizing you can't possibly meet the needs, even the legitimate needs of everyone around you, and you have to begin to choose, you have to begin to prioritize. What I've learned is that because a woman has not done her own personal and inner work to secure her internal environment, that you don't even have a clue how to do that for somebody else. Very often, the women who have not secured their own mental health, their own sanity, their own finances, their own marriage, their own um, their own lives, right? And that's your life, but even intimately, your own emotional life, your own financial life, your own mental life, your own spiritual life, you are not even equipped emotionally to be in tune with anyone else to actually help them. As a matter of fact, what you may find happening in your life is that people are kind of like, we don't want what you have to offer because you're not listening. You're not listening to what they're saying they actually need and want. You're trying to supply what you want to give versus what they're saying they need and want. And that can leave you feeling extremely drained and extremely like, oh, these people are so ungrateful, when in reality, they're not ungrateful. It's just you're not equipped to assist them in the way that they need, right? Which is that is something that each life and each soul can decide for themselves. And so if you are identifying with this, put in the chat like, yeah, girl, I've seen this in my own life where I have been trying to help someone else and they're like, that's not what I need. And they don't have any problem telling you you're just kind of out of order. And what I've seen about those women, who specifically the ones who really get offended, they are the women that have not gone into their own hearts and their own being to secure themselves. If this is like really resonating with you, if this is truly, truly resonating with you, um, let me know, put it in the chat. And so, what I wanted to talk about is, you guys know, I think I introduced it a few videos ago, the 4 stages of a woman's personal growth journey or personal improvement journey. And I knew I'd done a video back on Instagram about this subject where I labeled each stage of the journey, but I think it was back in November. It was October or November of last year in 2021. And I was trying to remember the names on YouTube. So I had to go back and find that video and rename it because it's been a while since I've taught this. But I think it's helpful. And what I wanted to do is kind of lay out those 4 stages of a journey, and I wanted you guys to just kind of put yourselves in what stage you're in when it comes to securing your own sanity. Like, where are you? Are you a beginner and you're starting this stage? Like, you've been focused on everybody else's sanity, everybody else's well being at the expense of yours? Or if you're in that last stage whereby you have gotten to the place where you've secured yourself, and now when you show up, you're able to show up and be really present for others in their lives. So just take a minute and kind of think on what I said. And if you have any thoughts, put it in the chat. Taking a sip of water there. Put it in the chat. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So I have the names of the stages and we'll go over each one because I just don't think I've done that on YouTube yet. So the four stages of a woman's personal improvement journey in general, I've labeled them four. Number one is the star, that's the beginner. Number two is the boss. Number three is the money making woman or the magical money making woman. I like to throw the magical in there because sometimes when it comes to money and women, it's when you meet a woman who can manage money and is comfortable with money, it's like, oh, is she a magician? And it's like, no, she's just using her beautiful magic, right? And then number four is the divine queen. And so the star, when you're in your first stage of your personal improvement journey as a woman, the star is the person who's newly exposed to personal growth, or she is the person who is re entering a new phase in her personal growth journey, right? So if she has had a baby, and she has to really learn how to reinvest in herself, if she's had a divorce, et cetera, et cetera. Some of you may be younger and you may be watching this video, I'm not sure when, but let's say you're 24, 25, or even if you're super, super advanced, like in your teenage years, you are starting your personal improvement journey, and that's amazing, right? And so this woman is just waking up to personal improvement. And some of the things that you're coming into your own self growth journey with, if you're waking up to personal growth or if you're restarting your personal growth journey, is very often you are here and you may sense a certain negativity that it has really permeated your life at this point. You may be dealing with a lot of complaining. You're complaining about a lot of areas in your life. If you know anyone who is dealing with this, send her this video. Tell her it's no love lost, but hey, Lindasha is someone who, understands a woman's journey and understands how to overcome a lot of these stuff. So just keep listening. If I'm triggering you, keep listening, sis. I promise you it'll get better. And these are women who you're new to it, so you may not be as committed or as knowledgeable about how to adjust your mindset. Or you may not know that 95% of the things that you do are subconscious, or you're unconscious of them. It's in your subconscious. It's kind of something that was programmed for you. And you have to often go into your history and your past to understand why you act the way that you do and bring it to your conscious mind. So only 5% of you at any given time is conscious of what's going on. Most of the time the brain is conserving energy and we're moving from an unconscious space. That may not be something that you knew. You may be dealing with a lot of fear or timidity around certain issues. And most importantly, I think my stars, the struggle that you have is that you're showing up in life and you're not asking for what you need, right? You have way more needs that are unmet in your life sometimes than you have needs that are met. And so that's for my stage one. For my stage ones, when it comes to securing your sanity, you are probably, and let me say this, all of us, I'm at stage three in most areas of my life. When it comes to securing my sanity, I'm definitely between a three or four. That's one of the stronger areas of my life. It's very important to me to make sure my mental health is legit, right? But everybody like can oscillate. Everybody can have like a stage one. I can have a star moment, even though for most of my life I'm at a three, right? So I don't want you to feel bad if you're starting your journey and you're finding this and you're like, oh my God, Lindasha's so advanced. How is this gonna look? No, I have one moments at times depending on what's going on in my life, right? It's just because I've done a lot of inner work, I typically can get to a three in the area pretty quickly. Or I go through the process in my Best You course, which is one of the courses that you guys, I'll make sure to put the link, all the different ways that you can work with me. But my Best You course, I give literally how I have moved through all of these stages, right? And so I'll go back and I'll do some of the activities that I teach you guys in that course. But at the end of the day, what this woman needs to do in her star stage to secure her own sanity is very often you are the woman who is in need of a coach. You kind of have let certain areas of your life go so far, that you need someone who's stronger than you in that area to bounce ideas off of. Someone who is able to kind of help you reset weekly. Someone who's able to give you all of the information that you need, and to be there with you personally, kind of as your strength in this stage. And whenever you have woken up and you've given so much of your life to other people and other things, and you've recognized now your mental health is everywhere, you have to go on that journey to bring all of that beautiful energy of yours that you gave to somebody else back home, right? That's how I think about it. That when your mental health is all out of whack because you've been given to all the men you dated, you've been given to your family, you've been given to your job, you've been given to your friends, and none of that energy you've been given to your children. God knows children can take your mental health in certain when you go too far with them. It is time when you're in stage one to begin to take all of that energy back into you, right? It's time that you begin to nurture you in a different way. And it's so important to do that. Stage number two, you guys are my bosses, right? So you are at the stage where you're like, girl, yes, I've been in stage one. I had to get myself together. In this stage, you are definitely in that independent woman kind of phase. Spent a lot of time there. I am not judging. I was there. I was in my stage two for so long, Chad. And I love my stage two because this woman is the woman who is truly learning boundaries. And she is also really big on communicating those boundaries. Sometimes her boundaries are a bit rigid. They're a bit rigid. So people are just kind of like, no, we're not gonna mess with that. In some areas of my life, I still hold my boss boundaries, right? Like you're not like it's more of a rigid boundary, but it is much more healthier. Like I can discuss why, et cetera, et cetera. When you're in your second stage, sometimes you're like, girl, I ain't discussing nothing. Why? Because you have been in the struggle, right? You have been in the struggle where you're tired, you're overworked, you were looking for reciprocity in your relationships, and it just was not happening. And basically, you were playing the fool. And so, when you were there, your boundaries had to be a bit higher so that you could get yourself back to a healthier place, right? You could get yourself back to a healthier place and you could do whatever it is that you needed to do to reinvest all the energy that you were wasting sometimes in other people because they didn't need it back into yourself. And so when you're in that boss stage, one of the things about your sanity though that you guys have to watch out for is very often your issue is that you are really losing connection with other people, right? Because you may have gotten burned really bad in various relationships. In stage two, you in like, no isolation for elevation. You know, all these quotes you see. I see a lot of quotes on social media from my ladies who are in that boss stage. And I'm just like, I get it, love. And sometimes that's a real stage. But the problem is when it's time to get into stage three, you're going to have to really tap into your level of growth. You're going to have to really tap in and get in your journal and start writing out, you know, wh- the reasons why you can't do life isolated completely, right? You're going to have to start to learn to retrust, and you're going to have to start to learn how to connect with others again, even if it's on just that most basic level. And so, side note, I wanted to make sure you guys knew. I know I think it's already in the chat. If you are interested in life coaching with me in any way, one on one, I know I've been talking a lot about wife world in my last few videos. Some of you, of course, are not interested right now in being a wife, but you still need a life coach for just your overall life. I want you to go ahead and sign up and get on my email list for my life coaching email list. And so the link will be below. And so when you sign up, you will begin to receive all the alerts of when I'm running any type of event dealing around one-on-one life coaching. I feel really led right now to kind of be in one-on-one life coaching for some reason. I do have my courses that I've created, but I really feel like women are at a place where they need like one-on-one connection, and we have to rebuild a lot of the trust as sisters and with all the wounds that we have dealt with in our past with women. And so when it comes to your life coach, it's like, hey, Lindasha, I trust you. Some of you may be there where it's like, okay, I know Dot is seems like she's good and I want to try her, but I'm not ready for all this group stuff. So go ahead and get on my list so that you can receive my emails and everything about my one-on-one life coaching slots. And we have different tiers for life coaching. So I have tried to be as budget friendly as I can in this particular season of my life. And so we have some affordable coaching packages, and most of that deals with coaching less time or coaching around less issues. So go ahead and get on that list. But that is if you're in your second stage, what you are going to want to do to secure your sanity at that stage is you've gotten your boundaries. They may be a little rigid because of the past pain you dealt with in your star stage. But now it's time to start learning how to reconnect with others, how to play well with others. You probably, if you're single, you're probably tired of being lonely. We talked about that in some of my other videos with men. You want to learn how to, be better at choosing the type of men to date so that you can feel more comfortable and trustworthy around them. Number three, which is the stage that I am in, this is my money making woman. She's my magical money making woman. You are at a stage where you have kind of overcome your trust issues. You've done a lot of healing around some of your past wounds in life. You are in a stage where you're very ready to be interdependent. And of course, that comes from Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I really like how he outlines those stages of life. But you're in your interdependent stage. This stage is really next level, right? It's really, to me, it's a juicy stage, right? We're at the stage we can kind of let our hair down. My hair is down right now. Okay, it's down. You're at the stage where you kind of let your hair down. You've achieved certain things that you need to achieve in life. Your life is very, very stable, right? Your income is stable. You have food, you have water, you have a good shelter. For me, you guys know that I'm manifesting another home in this stage of my life. And it's not really a home, it's an estate. I'm manifesting my dream estate at this stage of my life. So my shelter is going to be like shelter, right? So you're at that next level, you're elevating, you're good with collaborating with people. I've examined all of my relationships. I'm not wondering where people fit in my life like that. If I am still curious, it's generally in maybe like my business or my investment life. I am securing new teams on some of my financial investments. And so, money is always sometimes tricky in America. So that's an area where I may be still learning, but for the most part, a lot of my life is secure with my relationships. I have a huge sense of freedom in terms of the flow. Like I've learned to be able to distinguish between people's character. I know how to, navigate proper distance in my relationships. If you prove that I can't trust you to a certain level, you generally not that close to me versus those individuals who I could tell we kind of vibe together and we do well together. They get more access to me. I'm also in stage 3, you're also on your high value woman journey. This is where you'll hear those topics, about a woman being on her high value, high worthiness. You're not really questioning your worth at this stage because you have brought forth things in your life that match your worth. So you're not like, am I worthy of my dream home and my estate home? That's not your question. Versus someone who's in her star stage, she may be truly just trying to manifest an apartment at this stage of life, right? Like maybe, yeah, you are older and maybe you even have children. Maybe you were on that single parent road. I don't judge it. You guys know that's my mom. My mom's story comes from that. Go back and listen to her. If you're in that stage, she helped your girl redirect her life so I didn't have to go down that struggle. I didn't have to endure that particular struggle. And so I want you to go back and listen to her. But in stage 3, you're on your high value woman journey. When it comes to dating or marriage, you're dating men who are very stable, okay? Men who are unstable or have significant mental and emotional health issues that they're not addressing or any of that, they're not even really attracted to you, right? They just kind of they acknowledge you or they may hold the door open or something, but they're not even men who would approach you because they're just not ready. Um, and with your family, yourself, your money, you're really flowing very well in these areas. When you have an issue, you go straight to your methods to clean it up, right? So that's my magical money making woman. Like I said, the thing in this issue, when it comes to your mental stability, or excuse me, when it comes to stabilizing your sanity or your mindset, here, what you're going to deal with is those those areas of life that seem so high to other people, right? Like you kind of find yourself um being in a place where it's like today I was looking at some of the stores that deal with bathroom and kitchen and lighting showrooms, right? And one of the issues that kind of came up in my mind was like, oh, do I want to do a showroom? Do I want to go online? Do I want to whatever else? And everybody else is like, what? Ugh, like crazy chick. Like, really, girl, that's your biggest problem right now. Like, we got real problems out here. So you kind of find yourself more hiding because you hadn't found that group of women who are necessarily stable enough in their lives to even enjoy that. But that's a beautiful stage of life. That is the stage of life. You should not be embarrassed by that, okay? At all. If you're looking for someone to connect with, I am your woman to connect with. And I have so many other beautiful women in my circle who are there or higher. Um, so call me if you're in that level of isolation whereby the fancy stuff that you do, everybody else just be looking at you like, what in the world? Crickets, right? That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with more of that loneliness, maybe still from your boss energy. There's some boundaries that you need to adjust and some trust that you need to really learn to have with your sisters because nothing is like a great sisterhood. Okay. And then lastly, you have stage four, and that's the divine queen. The divine queen is so solid in who she is. She's like Mama Oprah. Mama Oprah is just out here turning on her camera and like growing her squash and cooking her beautiful pizza in her outdoor brick stuff stove oven of her fifth or sixth home or however many more she has. She's buying homes and don't nobody even know it. Like she's so abundantly blessed that she can give knowing that God is like forever providing. Her containers are perfect in that stage. Also in stage 3, you're still working on developing your containers. So like me, I'm still developing certain containers for the assets that I have and for the assets that I'm asking God to bring into my life. When you're in that divine queen stage, your assets are making assets at this point. It's like people are calling you about deals. They're like, do you want to get in on this deal because they know you're good for it? And so that's your fourth divine queen stage. When it comes to mindset issues here, the divine queen is at the point where she is bringing forth her energy and her stability. Her spirit is so stable. Her connection with God in life is so like in tune with reality that she'll speak what she wants and she's like she'll speak it and then it's just like, oh, it's there, right? Someone will call and be like, oh, are you interested in X? And she may say, oh yeah, I was just thinking about that, thanks for calling or reaching out. You don't even know how they got your number or how they got your information, but you're so in tune with bringing forth your desires that it almost happens instantly. And I do have a few women in my circle like that, that I actually can touch. Like they're in my circle, they're my mentors, so I know it's possible. You guys have heard me talk about my grandmother in many ways. She was a divine queen like this. My grandmother wasn't asking for like crazy high things, but anytime my grandmother prayed or talked to God, literally what she prayed for herself and others almost happened instantly. And that was another woman who was like my first divine queen in my life. And so that is tonight's live. Go back. I know this is a different time for us, so I wanted to just go ahead and try that. I had, like I said, I had a pretty rambunctious day today, but I still wanted to come on. I'm trying to build a habit with YouTube to see how that works, to see if kind of like dating YouTube to see if this is going to be the place where I show up more now that I am welcoming a little one into my life. I'm going to have to streamline a few things, but I still want this part of my life to be here. And so you guys let me know. I'm going to link um the other my links in this page as well. But if you are looking for one-on-one coaching, I am here for you. Go ahead and get on my email list and go ahead. I would love, love, love to chat with you and move from there. The way the process works is once you sign up for the one-on-one coaching on my email list, you'll receive hello, hey Miss Edna. Yes, catch up on the replay. Thank you for showing up. I enjoyed the last bits. Oh, absolutely. You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. And so everything will be sent to you through your emails, the calendar link, and also if there's any price for the first hour, all of that is applied to your balance. But I do run specials through my email list that I don't run publicly, just so you know. So get on that list. Okay, guys? All right. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.